Greetings metalheads and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George and today I am back with a gig review, a concert review from a show that I attended last night at the Norwich UEA venue here in the east of England. A great show, I have to say. Two fantastic bands. There were three bands on the bill, but unfortunately, due to scheduling, I wasn't able to watch the first band present, but two fantastic bands. We had Finnish Folk Metal heavyweights Korpiklaani alongside Scottish pirate metal rascals Alestorm. So, pirate metal and folk metal, an interesting combination. And yes, if you're a regular follower of the channel, you will be aware that I'm a big fan of extreme metal. I love my black metal, thrash metal, speed metal, death metal, all of that stuff. But you know what? I can still comfortably and securely enjoy some maybe less severe, a little bit more light-hearted metal and not feel bad about it. I do enjoy Alestorm. I do enjoy Korpiklaani. I enjoy the humorous aspect and I appreciate the more serious moments. Two fantastic bands, I have to say. So Alestorm, with the headliners, obviously Korpiklaani, Finnish folk metalers were the main support. Good set list, good set length for both bands, I will say. And actually, this was the third time that I have seen Alestorm live. The third time I've seen them at that very venue. So every time I've seen them, I have seen them at the Norwich UEA venue. First time was actually supporting Sabaton, and second time was their headlined show alongside Gloryhammer. Both great prior occasions. It's also the second time that I have seen Korpiklaani live. The first time was, again, they were supporting the great Sabaton, but that was at the much smaller Norwich waterfront venue. A long time ago now, I can't remember how many years ago that was now, but that was a great show, I have to say. Fantastic performances, in fact. But last night's show certainly lived up to expectations, and it was interesting to see the progression. See how much has changed in the way that they deliver their sets, the confidence of their stage presence, and just the quality of what you're watching and what's being delivered. Excellent value for money. Interesting to see that contrast between the last time that I saw Alestorm a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago, at that same venue, can't remember. I remember it was just after everything started to open up again after the lockdowns. So had that headline tour, but certainly a few more years since I've seen Korpklaani. So talk about Korpklaani's set a little bit first. If you're not familiar with this great band, they have a lot of albums in their catalogue. And I think I have all of the studio albums. I'm trying to work out which way around it is. I'm pretty sure I have all the studio albums and a live effort of theirs as well. They've got a lot of albums, a lot of material to choose from, which is an important thing to bear in mind, that you have a lot of studio albums, a lot of songs here. They have some pretty famous tracks, the party tracks, if you like, the more jovial and light-hearted tracks. Although it is folk metal, you know, we've got an accordion and a violin, and we have a guitarist and a bassist and a drummer. It's an interesting combination because it is very folky, but it is heavy as well. It's not quite, you know, Churasas battle metal or anything like that. It's very folky. I'd say it's probably more folk than it is metal. But there are some very good heavy parts. And you have, you know, a full band that are clearly very passionate about it. And they've got the full stage presence and they're all clearly having a good time and enjoying it. So we got all the obligatory Korpiklaani tracks. They kick off with A Man With A Plan, and the plan is to booze as much as you can. Excellent track, really enjoyable. We also had the excellent Wooden Pints, the opening track from the debut album, Spirit of the Forest. Elsewhere, we had tracks such as Levin Polka. We had some new tracks as well, because of course Korpiklaani have a new studio album coming out in March here in the UK anyway. So we had some new songs thrown in there. We had some older stuff. It was a very balanced set list. One thing that really did stand out though was the absolutely unnecessary inclusion of a Boney M cover of Gotta Go Home. I did not and do not ever want to hear that again. However, I was clearly in the minority because everyone was loving it. In fact, of the entire set, that cover got the greatest sort of crowd interaction and the best response from the crowd. So I will say that is one that I'm clearly in the minority for, that I don't really want to hear that, but I think that's mainly just because I am a big fan of Korpklaani and would much rather have heard some of their own original material. But hey, maybe I'm in the minority and I don't really care if I am. So we got some other good tracks in there. We had the obligatory beer. We had vodka as well. Not quite an encore, but towards the end of the set there. It was a very good set. I think that Korpiklaani were very much disadvantaged in the respect that they were playing to Alestorm's crowd. There were clearly some devoted Korpiklaani fans there present. Some people going crazy from start to finish at that set. I myself thoroughly enjoyed Korpiklaani's set. I think they were fantastic, but you could tell that the majority of the crowd were clearly there for Alestorm and maybe didn't quite know how to interpret that fantastic folk metal. Maybe it was a little bit of a tough crowd for them. But I think, to be honest, they did really well. You know, there's the obvious language barrier there, and I think that shows at times, certainly in the crowd interaction between songs, between the vocalist. But hey, that aside, they were fantastic. Great stage presence. As I say, clearly enjoying themselves and giving it their all. And it was a good set. Really enjoyed tracks like Wooden Pints. That's a personal favourite of mine, actually, so I was delighted to hear that one. It was just all the boozy songs and a few sort of classics in there, or fan favourites like Levin Polka, thrown in for good measure, and some new stuff too. So definitely a great band, and if you are going to this tour, but maybe you're not a fan of Korpiklaani anyway, give them a chance, give them some support. You know, don't just turn up for the headliner. Actually get down there and show some support for this fantastic folk metal band. And there are so many killer albums in this catalogue. One of the best features is actually this rather fantastic live at Masters of Rock Festival double live set release. Actually, it's got live at Masters of Rock 2016 and 2014 in there. Fantastic package. You can pick it up pretty cheap, I'm pretty sure. But if you wanted to maybe get familiar with some of the more popular tracks or some of the better live tracks from Korpiklaani's catalogue, then that's a good place to check out. A good place to start checking this great band out. So, Korpiklaani, fantastic. I really enjoyed it, and I think a lot of other people did too. But as I say, maybe a little bit disadvantaged in the respect that the house was clearly there for the headliners. So, those headliners then. So those headliners, those scallywags, those Scottish pirate metalers, absolute nutters that they are, they were fantastic. Alestorm are such good fun. Really very talented musicians. There's no doubt about that. They've clearly got the skill and the ability. They've got the songwriting because they've got so many popular tracks. Interestingly though, and I had this discussion with my friend that accompanied me to the show, that Alestorm are one of these bands where they have lots of party, fun tracks, upbeat tracks. And of course, those are the ones that people want to hear live. So when they play a track that's maybe not quite as jovial and party vibe, people seem to sort of struggle with it a little bit more. They just want to hear the next one about getting hammered. So you get tracks quite deep cuts, but great tracks thrown into the mix, such as Under Blackened Banners. Fantastic, absolutely excellent, brilliant track, really a good song, and it stood out in my opinion. A favourite of mine. So some great stuff. They kicked off the set in a really strong way with Keelhauled, guaranteed to get the crowd moving, guaranteed to get some heads banging and, you know, beer sloshing. A great starting point there. But throughout the whole set, it was just full of fan favourites and classics. We had some excellent moments from this classic debut album, Captain Morgan's Revenge, in the form of the title track, which actually kind of closed the set before the encore. We had the obligatory Nancy the Tavern Wench, and we had Wenches and Mead, of course. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Just kind of go through the discography here. We had Keelhauled, as I mentioned, and we had, we didn't have any other tracks from the great Black Sails at Midnight. We did have the excellent Sunken Norwegian from what is probably actually my favourite Alestorm album, is Back Through Time. So it was delightful to hear the Sunken Norwegian. Very rapid rendition of Rumpel Combo, an interesting one, of course. Then we've got an excellent album, in fact, with Sunset on the Golden Age. They played their cover of Hangover. They also gave us the rather interesting Drink as their kind of encore track. So again, it's all the tracks about partying. Some of the biggest crowd reactions, though, came with the latter catalogue and the more up-to-date stuff. So they did play the title track of No Grave But the Sea. They played the essential party song Mexico. We had the band title track Alestorm. The set closed, the whole concert closed with a grand finale and probably the biggest crowd interaction with Fucked With an Anchor, which is, of course, an absolute essential. Can't omit the other fan favourites from the rather bizarre Curse of the Crystal Coconut. We had Treasure Chest Party Quest. Did we have any? Oh yes, of course, we had Zombies Ate My Pirate Ship, another essential track there. And we did get some tracks from the newest album, Seventh Rum of a Seventh Rum. Nearly said son there. Oh, it was on the tip of my tongue. In the form of Party, or Party, Under Blackened Banners, as I say. Absolutely brilliant. It was a very good set list, kind of covering the whole discography. But the real gem was the new track, the title track from their upcoming EP, which is also out in March, Voyage of the Dead Marauder, which was really brilliant, actually, and had the accompaniment of female vocalist Paddy Gurney, I believe her name is, a very talented singer. It was great to kind of hear that song as it is on the record, rather than, you know, with the actual vocalist, rather than just it being played over the speakers. So we did have a guest vocalist there in the form of Paddy. It was very good, very enjoyable. She also remained for other tracks such as Zombies Ate My Pirate Ship, and did other renditions of other tracks with them. It was certainly interesting hearing Paddy, or female vocalist, singing Fucked With an Anchor. That was certainly an interesting highlight of that set. But overall, it was just a really great laugh, a really good time. Alestorm are absolute guaranteed great value for money. They have the crowd banter, the interaction, the whole kind of ridiculous stage aesthetics and presence where they're, you know, running around, jumping around like children. A lot of fun, very energetic. And of course, we cannot overlook the enormous inflatable duck. Essential. If you've seen Alestorm before, you will know the duck is the centerpiece. Everyone is screaming for the duck. Of course, when that is being inflated, the crowd goes wild. But it was absolutely fantastic. Really brilliant. Great fun. There is a live Killers highlight in Alestorm's catalogue as well, so if you do want to check out more Alestorm live material, check out this Live in Melbourne 2013 recording. This is Live at the End of the World, and actually this is a fantastic live album. It's full of essential tracks, certainly from that time, leaning heavily towards Back Through Time, but it's just great. It's a great live album. The DVD is really entertaining as well, because the guys are just getting progressively more and more trashed and having a great time. It's very energetic. So Alestorm, Korpiklaani, yes, they might not necessarily be the bands that I listen to every day, but I would certainly say that they are both brilliant bands and that I am a genuine fan of both. Not really all that bothered if you disapprove or not, but maybe step outside your comfort zone and check out these two fantastic bands if you have not heard them. This is an early date in the tour, so if you've got an opportunity, if they're coming to your town, go and check it out, because it is a great evening, very entertaining, and also some solid metal as well. So be sure to check out Korpiklaani. Certainly these classic albums for me hold a lot of magic. These are the ones that I got into initially. Albums such as Spirits of the Forest. We've got this absolute belter. This is The Voice of Wilderness, which has some brilliant tracks in the form of Journeyman, Spirit of the Forest, Native Land. Got Beer on this album as well. Tales Along This Road. Very folky stuff, but yeah, brilliant. Really enjoyable stuff, certainly if you like your folk metal. And then with Alestorm, there's 7 albums and some other bits and pieces as well in there, but albums like Captain Morgan's Revenge, absolutely fantastic. Heavy hitters, some brilliant stuff in there. Take a track like Over the Seas, Captain Morgan's Revenge, Death Before the Mast, Terror on the High Seas. It's a great EP there as well, the Leviathan EP. We've got the excellent The Quest as well on this album. Just trying to pick out some personal favourites of mine. Keelhauled is fantastic. No Quarter, Black Sails at Midnight. Some excellent material in there, so check it out. Overall, great performances from both bands, really enjoyable. As I say, great value for money. If you get a chance, go and catch these bands on tour, because it's well worth your time. So, my friends, were you there? Are you planning on seeing Alestorm and Korpiklaani? Are you not, but are you a fan? Interested to hear thoughts and opinions of others. And if you've never heard them, check them out. Step outside your comfort zone. Check them out. You never know. You might actually enjoy yourself. So thanks for watching, my friends. Thank you very much for your continued support. Likes and subscribes. Very, very much appreciated. Please do check back soon for more reviews and recommendations. Take care of yourselves, my friends. Until next time, stay heavy.